Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the stream. So my desktop should look a little different from the usual, and that is because this is Ubuntu that is actually running in VirtualBox on my Windows machine. As such, I expect there to be maybe some hitches tonight because my CPU usage is not really great right now. With OBS and this running at the same time, I might have some maybe a couple of hitches. I'm noticing the kind of orange, purple, red glow on my face due to the background of the default background of Ubuntu here. Anyway, so why am I in here? And it is because I started working on porting Vectrexy to Linux. And let me just remove a couple of things here. Yeah, and I kind of this like love-hate relationship with Linux. I don't know it super well, but I do on occasion install it. I actually have Ubuntu installed on one of my laptops, which we use to just connect to my TV and stream stuff. So it's not like I never use it, but I don't develop normally on it. However, I have ported former projects to Linux, and so I'm not a complete noob, and I am somewhat comfortable with the command line. So I'm not at a complete loss. At the same time, though, there are still things that frustrate me about Linux, things that just because I don't know it yet, or things that I just find a bit strange or more complicated than it is on Windows. So you might see me struggle with a couple of things tonight. It's also one of the reasons why I actually started working on this not directly on stream, because I just wanted to see where would I get stuck and how far could I go. And actually, it wasn't so bad. What I did was I got everything I needed installed. One of the issues with this right now, one of the things that actually prompted me to even look into using porting Vectrexy was the fact that VC package, VCPKG, had just recently announced that they let me just show you here. So Microsoft, on their MSDN blog, they did this blog post announcing a single C++ library manager for Linux, Mac OS, and Windows, VC package. Now, those of you who have been following or who know this, I use VC package on Windows to download the I think it's five dependencies that I have, like SDL, SDLnet, there's STB, IMGUI, and what am I missing? That is one of them that I'm missing. Anyway, all of these work perfectly fine on Windows. They download, they build. Of course, this is the tested platform is Windows, and now we have Linux and Mac OS, which is really cool because it means my project ostensibly should be able to build on those targets. Given that the code compiles, and maybe there might be some minor issues with things like the way CMake is set up and stuff, but for the most part it should work. Unfortunately, it looks like, at least right now, for Linux, we're not quite there, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I go into, I think it's here, VC package. So I've got the latest, just to double check here. New branch. Yeah, okay. Yeah, nothing of interest for me there. And basically, if we run the bootstrap shell script, Yeah, it looks like we did actually move ahead a little bit, so let's just see if this makes any difference. But the point is that I have all these dependencies. A couple of them build perfectly fine. And what's cool is that VC Package will build these x64 Linux static libraries, and I really want them to be static. I did manage to build without this and having like the usual using the Debian Package Manager apt to download all the dependencies, and unfortunately those are dynamic libraries. Yeah, see, right now I'm looking and I see that my CPU is at 100%. And that's the deal right now if I start building, you see? So I don't know how... I mean, it looks okay. I'm looking at OBS. I think it should be okay right now. Oh no, that's it. I can see that the streaming is totally frozen. Let me see if I can control this a little bit. Yeah, I can see that like there's like a total freeze frame right now. Okay, I just brought it back by by killing the build. Yes, this is not really gonna not gonna work. Let me see. I think I can limit. Can I do it from here while it's running? Maybe not. Processor. Oh, execution cap. Maybe I can bring it to 70% or something. Let's try that again. I'm gonna keep my eye on the CPU, and if I see that it goes high. Yeah, okay, still going high. Maybe I shouldn't put 3 CPUs, I don't know. Let's see. Does this behave better? No. Okay, let me try. Yeah, this is sort of what I was afraid of in terms of trying to make this work. Maybe we'll try 2 processor, or maybe let me just go down to 1 at 50% and see how that feels. I'm not too worried right now if it's like slow. And I don't want it to be too slow, but my PC is definitely not beefy enough to handle running a VM and running OBS at the same time. I mean, another alternative, and it might be what I do, is install Ubuntu cleanly on one of my, I have a spare hard drive, and just actually install it natively on there and see if I can get OBS set up. That's always another option. Maybe that 50% is really kicking in right now because it's a lot slower than before. Okay, well, we made it in. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I actually compile now. Look, if this doesn't work out, then I can work on something else. One thing I can talk about while this takes a super long time to load. Since the last stream, one thing I did do is I actually made the proper release of my emulator available, at least for Windows, which is kind of cool. Let me see if I can show you that. If we go to GitHub Vectrexy here. So if you go on the GitHub page for Vectrexy, at the very top here, you'll have this latest build here, and you'll see that we're passing. This is an AppVeyor badge, and it says here, download Vectrexy Windows 64-bit. So this here is basically every time I push to master, it's going to build whatever the tip of master is, and if it succeeds, it replaces the build available here with that one. And to that end, one of the things I did work on, oh yeah, so from last stream I had, you might recall, I had started working on scaling the ImGUI font based on screen DPI. I actually ended up testing this out on my laptop and it totally worked, so I kept this. And I also did this little change, which is add version to window title if version.txt exists. So basically when we load, I look to see if there's a file called version.txt, and if there is, I just read in the version and put it in the window title. That means that basically the version that gets downloaded from here, let's see here. I think I have one on my machine here somewhere, let's see. Yeah, so you see here's a version.txt, and in there is a version 0.0.0-421-G, and then this hash. So what this really is, it's kind of interesting. I didn't know about this, and those of you who are using Git and are looking for a versioning thing, what I did is I went ahead and tagged my first commit as 000, V000, and 421 here represents the number of commits since the last tag on this branch. So this would be ostensibly the 421st commit. So there's the 421 there. Dash G, G stands for Git. Apparently it's S if it's from SVN. I guess if you're using Git SVN, it knows to put S. Maybe if you're using Git Perforce, it'll use P. Anyway, I read online that G stands for Git. And then here, B5939 B7 should be the hash of this commit, or at least of the commit that got built. Which one is it? Oh, so it's this one here. Oh yeah, so it's just that the one I have downloaded is from this version here. So you can see here B5939 B7. This is the beginning of this hash. So with this version, I can pretty much figure out which version we're looking at. And if you run Vectrexy, at the top of the screen, you can see it says Vectrexy and there's a version. So this is nice. It lets me know which version people are running, or if I'm wondering which version I'm running, I can easily tell. So that's always good. So yeah, if you have a Windows machine and you feel like trying it out, I recommend it. It comes with ROMs and overlays, so you don't have to even download anything. You can just go ahead and open any ROM in there, and you should be good to go. So if you do, please let me know how it goes. Any feedback obviously is welcome. All right, so I think it did not read my click here. That's what took so long. There we go. So if I go back into, because I want to see if this how the CPU usage will go now. BC package. Oh yeah, it's in code. Okay, actually this seems to be working now. I'm looking at the CPU usage. I mean, it's really, really slow, but it does mean that that value that we set does have some bearing. So I wonder, most likely the big difference was the single CPU. So maybe if we give that CPU just a little bit more horsepower, we might be okay. Let's try 70. Okay, so VirtualBox is using 20%. Now it's using about 25%. So actually probably I can just put it to 100 because it's really the one CPU thing that I think will make all the difference here. Okay, so we're no longer using 100% CPU on my host machine here. So yeah, basically if you can, I'd love to get some feedback on this version. So if you're running Windows, please go ahead and give it a whirl. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. There's I added this add latest build section with Avir badge and link to the latest builds. This is what I added to the README that I showed you just earlier. I have here a work in progress change for the Linux stuff. It was just a sanity like check-in commit. I didn't want to lose any work I was doing, but actually I need to redo it. Wow, this is a lot slower. This is gonna take way too much time. What do I do? What do I do here? This is looking like it's less and less interesting to do this. And try with 2 processors again, this time at 50%. Maybe restarting it will actually make it kick in, because I think it wasn't really working right before. It would really be nice to get this working on Linux. One thing that's sad is, and this is really a VirtualBox issue, it looks like on my machine, and I've read about this, a lot of people have this issue, I can't actually run. I got it to build, but I couldn't actually get it to run. I have this OpenGL context creation error. Turns out that that's fairly common because of VirtualBox and which OpenGL version it's actually able to natively, or like which OpenGL version it's able to run through the guest additions driver stuff. I might be able, that's one thing I wanted to look into, is I might be able to use the software renderer, the OpenGL software renderer. I think it's what's it called again? The Mesa. GL software renderer. Yeah, I think it's this. If you're using Meza's libgl, you can enable software rendering. Well, maybe it's not this one, but Meza 3D. Yeah, I guess it is Meza. So I'll have to take a look at this. Okay, so it is building a bit faster with 2 CPUs. Yeah. See if I can bump it up just a little bit more. Okay, I'm really on the limit now. I'm just gonna try to change my OBS streaming settings just a little bit to see if I can reduce OBS's transcoding. Doesn't seem to have made much difference. Wow, this is crazy slow. Well, okay, so while this is running, one thing I can talk about is, you know, basically the emulator is in a pretty good state right now. Like, it's fairly compatible. The commercial ROMs pretty much work. In this set are the commercial ROMs, and then there's a few homebrew ROMs, which also seem to be working pretty well. So that's pretty cool. The graphics, I'm pretty happy with it. There could be a bit of optimization done to speed it up a little bit, but it's not completely terrible. The only thing really that I have left to do is audio. So I started actually reading about audio. Let's see here. I think I have, where did I put it? To do. Yeah, here. Probably shouldn't have written it here. Normally I keep this in another file, but let's see here. To do notes. I think it was here. Yeah, this is normally where I put this kind of stuff. So let's see. Did I have a section on audio? Okay, I have some information about audio here. No. So yeah, so what we could do is we can move this section here. So what I've learned so far comes actually from, I think it was this link here. Yeah, that's not quite right here. Can I, does this work? This is in Vectrex stuff. I guess it has to be absolute, right? This path. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What we can do is just do this. I have to change the forward slash to backslash because of Windows. Yeah, so this document here is a nice little introduction. It's a preliminary introduction into producing sound on the Vectrex. And it's basically what I started reading. And it's pretty interesting, actually. The Vectrex is not too complicated. It has, I think it's easier to understand from my notes here. So in the BIOS, the main function that you use is called byte to sound chip. And you know, basically it allows you to set a byte in one of the 15 registers. So here, okay, I'll get the registers in a second. So for the Vectrex, there are 3 tone generators and 1 noise generator. So these 4 sound generators are accessible through 3 voices, which are basically channels. Oh, I think. Okay, so this is finished. Yeah, I'll get back to the audio in a second. Let's go back to this for 1 sec. So let's see. So we did this. Installed. Let's see what I have here. x64 Linux. Yeah, okay, I remember now. So if I do a VC package, we can say list. Yeah, so right now what I was able to get working properly in VC package was ImGUI and STB. So these two are statically linked in my program. However, the other dependencies, of which I will show right now through Visual Studio Code, SDL2, SDL2 net, and this, what's the last one? Okay, Vectrexy. Let me go full screen here. All right. CMake files. No, not here. All right, so SDL2 net. OpenGL is present in Linux. Yeah, I think it was this glue and GLM. These two here. So I actually have 7 dependencies. SDL2 net. Both of them right now don't seem to. I think SDL2 builds, but not SDL2 net. OpenGL is already there. I don't have to worry about it. Glue doesn't seem to work. GLM doesn't seem to work. STB and ImGUI do work, on the other hand. So just as an example, if we wanted to try VC package, install, or what was it again? VC package, install, and we try, what do we try? Let's try GLM, because that should be technically not a complicated one, right? Yeah, so this can be long again. So let me just put that here. Oh, debug done. Oh, so maybe it won't be so long. It's got to do debug and it's got to do release. So now it's building release. Oh, so this one worked. So that's interesting. This may have worked this time because I did upgrade GCC to GCC 8, or maybe because we upgraded VC package. So there may be some hope here. Yeah, that could be very interesting. All right, so let's say we've got those three picked off, right? We know that ImGUI, STB, and GLM. Let's move up the list. Let's try glue. It'd be so great if all of these worked. And I mean, ultimately, that's the point, right? What I experimented with yesterday was, you know, well, not what I experimented with. What I determined was, I ended up building an executable. It wasn't really realizing that some of my dependencies were shared libraries and not statically linked. So SO instead of .a files. And so then I tried copying this executable. Oh, okay, so glue worked. That's great. So I tried copying this executable to my native Ubuntu machine on my other laptop, and then it told me, oh, you know, you're missing dependencies. You're missing, I think it was SDL2net and something else. So I was like, okay, try SDL2net. That's when I was like, okay, so there must be a simple way to like get those dynamic libraries on there, right? And I looked into it, and sadly, it was not that simple. SDL2net, is it? Yeah, it turns out that like if you want to be able to distribute your Linux binary, your Linux executable with dynamic libraries, you have to modify or pass. You have to pass like an argument to the linker to tell it where to look for libraries, and you want to tell it to look basically in the same directory. Otherwise, it always looks in, I think, user lib or something, and won't see it even if you put the SO besides the executable, which I guess that's just the way it is on Linux, but it's not what I'm used to. On Windows, the rule is that if you launch an executable and there is a DLL next to it, that it depends on DLL, and the DLL happens to be next to the executable in the same folder, it will automatically use that. Like there's like this order of things, like places where it looks. It looks first in the directory of the executable, and then it checks path, and then there's all the other rules about where it finds DLLs. And I thought it was the same on Linux, but turns out it's not, and it's a bit more complicated to package. So ultimately, the simplest thing would be to just not have dynamic libraries, which may be the case now, if this works. These would all be static, so I would be able to produce a single executable and be able to ship that with my data, and that would be wonderful. So let's hope that works. Okay, debug was successful, so that's a good sign. Usually debug is the one that causes more pain, so. If this really works, I'll be surprised, because I mean, just yesterday I cloned all this and it wasn't working. So could it be that I fixed one in today? I doubt it. That would just be crazy, right? So May 14th, these commits went in. Abseil, oh that's cool. AWS SDK CBP Folly, JSONNet, MSGSL, MUJS, OpenImageIO, RE2, RS Core Lib, Thrift, Oh, hey, Neptane. Thanks for the follow. 0MQ and upgrades, and then Robin map initial commit. So that doesn't really look... Oh, here we go. Ah, you see? Yeah, this is what I was getting for SDL net, SDL2 net. But you know what? It could be that this is the only one that's really causing me a problem. Let's try just SDL2 just to see. Oh, already installed. Oh, did I already install this one? Is this your first time, Neptane? So what do we got? We got glue, GLM, ImGUI, SDL2, so there it is. STB. Oh, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I think then the only one really causing me problems is STL2 net. And it says error building package build failed. Call stack, let's see. VC package build CMake. Command failed. Yeah, I think I tried to understand what the problem was and I was unable to see it. So it gives here a log for more details. We'll take a look at it, but I don't think we'll see very much. Please ensure you're using the latest port files, which we are. Yeah, using local port file versions to update, use git pull. Well, we did git pull earlier, so that's not going to change much. Okay. Didn't I just do a git pull before? No packages need updating. Yeah, so I doubt this is going to work because it's not in the list. But we can try again, just to see how far we get. Okay, and there we go. So same problem. And it actually says here, submit an issue to VC package issues. So they want us to go and let them know about it and specify this. And I don't think I've seen this though in the list of issues. So I should probably report it. Let me just go see. What is this? VC package, issues. Okay, that's SDL2, but not SDL2 net. So maybe I should create an issue for this. So there was an issue to add it. Looks like it was done at some point, April 6th, 2017. If I can give some information here. Maybe I should try to attach. Although I can't easily download it here. Let me see. The CMake error at C log. Okay, let me go take a look at this log here. Oh, okay, so we can just copy this. See, I don't really see what the issue is when I look here. Let me see. Error, no such file or directory. So it looks like I'm missing file or directory. From where? So this is CC, this is the compiler that's complaining. It's doing a ninja build. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, and I'll just write here contents of, okay, I'll put in the file name after. So this would be the contents of what again? Output shell. All right, we'll submit that as an issue. So technically this would be the only one right now, and I believe I actually installed it with apt-get. Can I do this? How do I check the list of things I installed with apt? List installed. Was it? Oh, apt list installed, okay. And if we grep for STL, yeah, so you can see I had downloaded libstl2dev here and libstl2netdev as well. These are things I had installed. I wonder if I can use this tool here to see what I've installed. Yeah, install here. Is this the same list? Not quite, is it? Or maybe. Yeah, not quite the same list. So we've got libstl2, because I'm wondering now, when I build, will it pick up on, like if I have two things installed, if I have the VC package one and the one in the normal environment, which one will it pick up on? Should I be like removing these ones? Let's remove them. Whoops, sudo. Because I'd really like to see if this picks up all of them. I'll just leave, oh, I see it removes actually libstl2net. I wonder if that's because the other one was its dependency. Could be. We list and grep SDL. Okay, now we have, I think these are just the runtime environments. which I shouldn't need either, right? So let me remove those as well. I know this is not like super interesting compared to what I'm usually working on, but you know, this is part of the process. Okay, so it looks like I have no more SDL stuff. Did I have GLM? I did. So let's remove libglm dev. Glue. Yeah, I have glue there. And libglue 2.0. And finally, what was the other one? STB and ImGUI I shouldn't have there because those were never a problem. Okay. So now if we go to Vectrexy, I'm gonna redo it. Remove cache. CMake. I need to give it the path. What is it again? Hold on. This is it. Okay, so this is what we expect. The one thing it cannot find is SDL2 net specifically. One thing I wonder is the SDL2 net failure, was it for the debug version only? And I wonder if I can tell VC package to skip the debug version. Possible. Hey, unturned X, there is a -y command. Oh, is that you mean for apt? When I do apt install and apt remove and all that? Okay, I'll remember that. I'll try passing -y. Sometimes I don't mind getting the prompt because it lets me know that I actually did the right thing, you know, because it's a big wall of text otherwise, and I have to like read to know did I actually enter the right package name. But yes, in general, the quiet modes are useful. Yeah, it looks like it was the debug version, right? because it's in the process of doing this one. Let me see. VC package. Build release only. Is there such a way? If you add set VC package build type release to a triplet file, most ports will avoid building the debug version. This is certainly going to have holes in it, but I'd be happy to accept PRs fixing those when they do arise. To a triplet file. Oh, I see. So technically, if we modify x64 Linux here, yeah, and add it here, we might be able to get away with this. Let's see if that works. Oh no, actually what I wanted to do now was actually do the VC package, install. Oh, see, now it's doing release and it's getting the same error. But at least we see that it did work, what we just tried. It did skip the release version, which is useful. This definitely would save time. See, like this script is an AppVeyor script, and what they're doing is before they start the VC package stuff, they echo and append this set VC package build type to whatever configuration, which I guess would be release. Except here's capital R and should have been small r. But then yeah, and then they go and this would save a bunch of time because it wouldn't bother building the debug stuff. Unfortunately for us, looks like it hasn't fixed anything. Okay, so let's say, that is the case. So what we would need for this to work at the very least is there's two ways. I guess I could try building it myself, or we would do this, right? I think it's STL2net dev or something. Apt cache search. No, that's it. We do. Yeah, so see, unfortunately, it also installs libsdl2. So I do wonder if it's going to find that one. I would like for it to use the one from VC package. Build. No. I don't know how to scroll through different matches in the reverse lookup in Bash. If anybody knows, you do Control R. I start writing CMake. It's showing me a hit here, but that's not the one I want. I want like the next match. No. Control R again. Thank you, Moosey Boy. That did indeed work. So this is what I wanted. Yeah, so STL2net was found here. OpenGL was found there, so this is expected. Glue and GLM, and then it says, warning, manually specified variable were not used by the project. Really? Okay. What about STL2? It doesn't tell us that it was found? I wonder if this found thing is actually from the find script itself. Let's take a look. So we saw like find GLM was one of the ones that was listed, right? Yeah. No. Unless it's this here. Handle required argument to find found variable. Maybe it is this. Find package handle standard args. GLM default message default. GLM include dir. Maybe it is this. That causes it to output that thing. What was the other one? Let's take glue. Okay, there it is again. I'm gonna guess SDL2 does not have that. Oh, it does. Find package handle standard args. Although this one doesn't say default message in it. GLM default message. This function is tend to be used in find CMake module files. It handles the required quiet and version related arguments to find package. Okay. It also sets the package name found variable. The package is considered found if all variables listed contain valid results. There are two modes. The first argument in both modes is the name of the find module where it is called in original casing. The first simple mode looks like this. Default message, custom failure message. Second is more powerful and also supports version checking. If default message is given as a second argument, then the function will generate itself useful success and error messages. So that seems to be right away. That's what we're looking for. So let's see if we were to add it here. Maybe I can't do it like this. Required vars. Okay, it looks like we have the more advanced version here. Name found var, required vars, fail message. Okay, so the second one we're using, just second mode, doesn't seem to have this default message thing. Is that possible? Required vars. Maybe we could just do it the other way around. I think there's no need for this required vars thing. Let's try that. Ah, there's found SDL2. Perfect. And it found the VC package one. So do we have all of them covered? Let's see. SDL2, SDL2net, OpenGL, yes. Glue, GLM, we're missing some. We're missing STB and MGUI as well. I think we're just missing that thing at the bottom. Excuse me. Right, so instead of doing something like message, error, and all that, we could just use this here. Why is MGUI? Oh, MGUI found. I think it was saying that it would set the MGUI found for us, wouldn't it? Yeah, so we don't need any of this really. Oops. And what we want is MGUI library and MGUI include path here. So this should now show MGUI when we do this. improving our fine CMake foo. Okay, so there's ImGUI. We can see that it came from VC package. That's great. Let's also fix up, similarly, the STB one. What you got for CMake? I must say it's pretty cool to be able to use VS Code in Linux, especially for someone like me who's more used to these kinds of products. Oh, look at that syntax highlighting. Isn't that cute? All right, so let's comment this out. So STB does not have a library, so it's going to be just the include path. All right. Great. So looks like everything we've got is going to come from VC package, except for OpenGL and SDL2Net. And like I was saying, this is the one that, you know, even if I copy this here next to my executable, I don't believe it's going to work on a system where libsdl2net is not installed. So I'll have to take a look at that at some point. So let's see if this actually makes. And I mean, I haven't shown it there, but there are diffs. There are changes that I had to make for this to compile. And some of the changes I made are questionable. I need to like go over them. Some of them I don't even think would compile, or I know don't compile back in Visual Studio. So, but I was just, you know, doing what I had to just to get it to build, and then kind of work my way backwards from there to undo some of the changes. So. Okay, so we compiled, but we're failing to link. And I suppose it's not a surprise. We're failing to link because, I guess it's because if SDL2net is dynamic, it probably wants libsdl2 to be dynamic as well. So I'm looking here at libsdl2.a and then SDL dyne API. DL close. Yeah, that makes sense. SDL2net must be invoking code from in SDL2, and it's expecting it to be the dynamic version. So yeah, what this really means then is that we have to VC package. We're gonna have to like remove SDL2. So now it should find SDL2 and SDL2net both from what's been installed with apt, which it does, and then the rest is coming from VC package. So maybe this will work. Put it again to make it use multiple processors, make -J. Oh, anyways, it seems to have remembered previous build, so no big deal. Let's see if it links. Okay, now it links. So it really was that. Just updating here. We could put glue and we could put GLM. Those seem to work. Really, it's only libstdl2 dev and libstdl2 dev net that we need right now from here. We don't really need this. Okay. Just keeping notes. All right, and then here's the problem, right? So we've got ourselves a nice executable, but if I try to run it, see, it actually created the window, and then it stopped with a cannot create OpenGL context with error. Cannot create OpenGL context. Could not create GL context, bad value. And this has something to do more with my virtual box than anything else. So I tried fixing it, although I did wonder about, could this work with a software renderer? So we're looking at quickly earlier. Yeah, this is me. It's kind of similar to us. Okay, so this person did not actually succeed, but it sounds a little bit like what I've read also, that you can download Mesa and do it yourself, or Mesa, or whatever, however you say it. Just added this to the code and it uses the software renderer. libgl always software. How do you set environment variable? I always forget how to do this. Export, okay, yeah. Set it only for current shell, var name, otherwise you do export. Export var name, okay, let's just try that. No, that had the same effect. Yes, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. GLX development files. Okay, so I have some Mesa stuff installed apparently. GLX. GL always software render. So yeah, I don't know. Again, this may just be very specific to my system. Why would that make any difference? How can I check what? Oh yeah, GLX info. Mesa project and SGI. Okay, so here it says OpenGL Core Profile Version Strength 3.3. Did I make that change? Hold on a second. Oh, there it is. Okay, so 3.3 is here.
The very mention of the name brings to mind things so evil, so fantastic, so degrading.
Okay.
You wonder if it isn't all a dream, a nightmare. And a man who lived after death, lived on human blood, took the form of a vampire bat, and lured innocent girls to a fate truly worse than...
I mean, from here it seems to imply that we are using a version of OpenGL that should support 3.3. I don't really understand what this is showing me. Vendor string VMware, LLVM pipe. It's showing all these different OpenGL renderers. So how do I say which one I'm using? Like if I want to use this one, this LLVM pipe, how do I say this is the one I want to use? Because it looks like there's another one here that I don't want to use. Vendor, render, string, version string, ES profile. So there's core profile and ES profile. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this means. I have all these different profiles, and I don't know which one it's trying to use. I mean, my application is supposed to use core. Looks like I lost my place. I think that is determined. Is it an SDL engine? Oops. Create GL context. It's here. We set the major and minor version to 3.3, and then we set the profile mask to profile core. And then we do create context, and this is where we fail. Almost certainly. Like, just to be sure. Cannot create OpenGL context. Oh, is that the output we saw? It is. So we return a null context. Not sure about why. Okay, I guess because cout is not cerr. That's why we don't see it right away. Okay. And then with the cannot create. This would be the SDL get error. Okay. Cannot create GL context, bad value, integer parameter out of range for operation. Like, just to see, you know, if we were to pass here, .1. be sure. I think this is disabled, but just to be sure. Tried 1.1, I've tried 3.3. I didn't really try 3.0, but I mean, no, I did try 3.0. I'm not getting anywhere with this. In a way, this is kind of a waste of time. I really think that I just need to get a proper Linux installation that actually works, not a VirtualBox one. Yeah. I mean, we know it links. We're close. I think this code is supposed to work. There was something there was one of the changes I made that I wasn't super sure about. Let me see here. These are all the changes I have to make for it to compile on Linux. I don't need this. Oh yeah, I think I never figured this one out. Yeah, I really got to revisit some of these. Platform, yes. Steel engine, yes. Ah yes, this was what it was. I think I may not need to do this anymore. Shut down. Legally shut down. Okay, yeah, so it looks like the version of ImGUI that is now part of VC Package has been updated. I read about this. There's a breaking change where you no longer need to call shutdown, but rather you're supposed to deal with the context. Although I don't know about that, since I don't know if this is creating the same kind of context we are creating. Maybe it's not the same kind of context. I had commented these out because I wasn't sure we were getting the context errors, but I don't think this is the same kind of context. It's an ImGUI context, so I think putting it here is probably correct. But in any case, we're not even getting there. Okay, so technically we could just okay, so it reverts the entire file. That's kind of stupid. To do that, get main window handle here. So I think these VS Code settings, I'm gonna have to add them to my git ignore. So let's do that. Is it .vs or the VS Code? .vs Code, okay. These are changes that I expect will not compile on Visual Studio. and I'm not sure yet how I want to handle this. Basically, Visual Studio doesn't mind if we call a macro and we don't pass any var args. It basically eats up or ignores the fact that there's a comma followed by nothing, whereas GCC doesn't do that. And one of the workarounds is to do this token pasting thing where I don't know why, but then it will remove this comma, I suppose. And I looked into it, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of simple or clean way to do this in a cross-platform manner, so I'm gonna have to think about how I want to handle this. Okay, missing include. Yeah, this is one thing you're not allowed, and I've hit this before. Visual Studio allows you to do this, but not GCC or Clang because it's actually non-standard. You're not allowed to do template specialization within the context of a class. So I had to like basically take out these specializations and move them outside of the class, which is kind of sucky, but that is the standard. Here I had to put capital GL because Linux is case sensitive. That's fine. This was a token pasting that was not required. This should work both on Windows, now works on Linux with GCC. This I have to remove. This is what I want to look at. Pimple. I have this weird error with this file. Yeah, so what it was the static assertion here, which is what I was hitting. Let's see if I still hit it. Yeah, see, this is really weird. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. So I'm using a compile time error. I create a print v with a template argument, and I delete the constructor. So if I create it here, it'll output as part of the error message what the v is, which is 1. So 1 means that our size policy is at least, so that's 0 here. And so that means that we should be, this if const expert should be going into this branch here. And for some reason we're falling into this branch. Right? Huh. What's going on? Maybe this is an issue of static assert. You know what this could be? This could be that maybe I misunderstand what's legal in if const expert. Yeah, see, no matter where I put the static assert, it's like basically it always compiles this branch, even if like right now the only size policy that's ever used is at least and never exact. Actually, it even says here in const per void and with size equal 48 and the size policy is 1. So basically it's saying that in the case of at least we should only be entering here, but I'm hitting the static assert false here. Init statement, condition. If statement with initializers. Okay, right. A statement that begins with if const expr is known as the const expr if statement. In a const expr if statement, the value of condition must be a contextually converted constant expression of type bool. If the value is true, then statement false is discarded if present. Otherwise, statement true is discarded. The return statements in a discarded statement do not participate in function return type deduction. Okay. The discarded statement can ODR use a variable that is not defined. That makes sense. If a const expr if statement appears inside a templated entity and an if condition is not value dependent after instantiation, the discarded statement is not instantiated when the enclosing template is instantiated. Okay. Okay. Outside a template, a discarded statement is fully checked. If const expr is not a substitute for if preprocessing. So I think this is what I'm hitting. It's fully checked. An example where the condition remains value dependent after instantiation is a nested template. Note, the discarded statement can't be ill-formed for every possible specialization. So see, I think this is exactly what's happening for me. See, if const expr is arithmetic v of t, else static assert false must be arithmetic, ill-formed, invalid for every t. The common workaround for such a catch-all statement is a type-dependent expression that is always false. So if I understand this correctly, what they're saying is here, when it is arithmetic, it's still invalid to have this because for all t's, including the ones which are valid, this here is considered ill-formed. Basically, static asserting false is bad. So it needs to be well-formed for all t. Unless it's type dependent. Is that what it's saying? If the statement appears in a templated entity, the condition is not value dependent. So I guess that is exactly what I'm running into. So they say that there's a workaround. Like you declare a little helper called dependent false, which rather than say static assert false, which is what I'm doing, you create something that depends on the type. And what's going to happen is it just won't get evaluated if we never enter this branch. That's kind of a shame. Which T should I use here? I guess I could use this T here. Doesn't really matter, does it? Oh yeah, of course. Using this wrong. Okay, looks like that actually does work. That definitely makes if const expert a little bit tricky to use. It's a bit unfortunate, but I suppose it makes sense. Like basically in the case where is arithmetic v, if the t is actually an arithmetic type, what the compiler sees is that this here is not ill-formed if it were to actually expand this, but it won't expand this because it's a, what do you call it? It's I forget the name for this. It's something evaluation context. Basically, the compiler says, well, this is the trick is to add a layer of indirection for the template. We say, you know, the compiler won't bother to expand this type, but it's validly formed. It's not ill-formed, so it'll say, okay, that's good. If ever it's not an arithmetic type, then it will have to expand this, because this else branch will become the true branch, and it will go ahead and expand this, and in this case it'll just return false, and we'll get the static assert. So that's kind of the trick behind this. Putting static assert false this way means that for all t's, when it goes and evaluates this, even when it's valid and it would normally go into this if, this here is ill-formed because static assert false needs to tell the compiler to stop. If that makes sense. Maybe I'm not expressing myself correctly. But anyway, it makes sense to me, so hopefully I said that clearly. And hopefully this actually works in MSVC. I'll just put this. Okay. Yeah, I needed to revisit this. I kind of quickly hacked the platform stuff together. And I kind of copy pasted everything and quickly got it working for platform Linux here. And also I was thinking, I don't know if I want platform Linux or more like platform GNU, you know, because I think I'll be able to use this code for Mac OS, for Mac basically. But anyway, for now it is indeed Linux. I think it should be okay for now. There's a bunch of stuff I'll if I can actually get it running, I'll take a look at this code. This here, get main window handle. What was this for? I know I needed this to make it compile, but what do we do with this again? Oh yeah, we call set focus main window with this. And right now my set focus doesn't do much, so it doesn't really make any difference. That's why this will actually work. Okay. Let's say we don't care right now. Can't reset lines, eh? So it looks like the Clang format that I'm using here is not the same Clang format integrated in Visual Studio, so I end up with slightly different formatting, and that's super annoying. Like here, see, it inserts a space, whereas if I come to Visual Studio, it removes the space. Let me figure out which version of the Clang format I am using. I don't remember exactly where the extensions go. I think it's in here. Oh, yeah, I saw extensions. Common 7 IDE extensions. Am I not looking in the right place? Wait. Oh, actually. Ah, here it is. Okay. Okay, so this is Clang format version 6. Trunk, and then the one I'm using is which one again? This should be version 6 as well. This one's called version 6.0.01, Ubuntu 2, tags, release 600 final. I mean, this shouldn't be all that different. I guess this might be one of those minor changes they may have made between these two versions. Clang format 6.0. I wonder if this is different. Because I'm pretty sure I installed one just called Clang format, but what does 6.0 have that's different? Let's see. Ah, it's already the one I have. Okay. So then it's just annoying. Unless there's like an update to the extension. Looks like I fixed my credentials issue, and it still looks like, as far as it's concerned, client format has not been updated. Seven point oh. What do I have? So it looks like I did find an update. I'm curious, is this actually a same version, a newer version? Really what I should do is I should find a way to pin the version of client format that we use on the different platforms. There must be a solution for that. See, now I have two client formats. And this is version 7, which is not even available for me. Interesting. So now I'm probably gonna have even more differences in terms of how it formats. But I do wonder if it'll put that space on that line. Starting to get tired. Okay, so it looks like now it does insert the space when using the latest client format, version 7, but who knows what else it does. Yeah, it looks like right now that's the only change. So maybe the version 6 that I'm using over there won't cause too many problems for now. It would be nice to get version 7, but I don't know. Yeah, this one here, this one's fine. There was an issue with the fact that the type that we return is called timer mode and the function was called timer mode. This was fine on MSVC, but apparently is, I think it's not an error, but it was causing a warning from GCC. So not to fight it, I just decided to change it to mode, which was fine. Timer 1 mode returns timer mode, which makes a lot of sense anyway. And I just had to change the code that called it, which was here. So that's okay. Here was another capitalization problem. Then this here has to do with having changed to a newer version of ImGUI, which then makes me wonder on Windows, will I be updating to the latest one? And I was looking into that, and one of the things you can do to avoid this issue is require like that you check out a specific commit in VC package rather than like get the latest one, so that you can be sure that you're using the same version everywhere. But since I'm in a state where I'm still waiting for VC package to be able to build SDL2net, I can't really pin myself to a version just yet. So that's not really an option for me. So let's see. If we do a git pull here, so we're going to update VC package. I suspect we'll have a new ImGUI and I'll have to make the same change on this side. And at least we'll see if it works. VC package. And then we're supposed to do updates. Warning, different sources available for VC package. Use Bootstrap. Okay. You know, VC package is not perfect, but I have to say I'm pretty happy we have something like it. Like, I'm glad Microsoft took this project on and decided to try to come up with a solution for, you know, C++ package management that is also cross-platform. Initially, it was to solve the problem of having no package manager on Windows, or at least no official one. And the fact that they took it and decided to go ahead and port to Linux and Mac, I find that really cool. I know I've read some people complain that it's not really a package manager in the sense of it doesn't support, let's say, pre-built binaries that are being served from a server somewhere, but that you always get source and have to build it. And that's true. And it is a bit slower, but at the same time, it's also kind of flexible that way, right? So, you know, I know there are other package managers like Conan, but these are not free. So VC package update. So the following packages differ from their port versions. So the ones I have, so GLM got updated, ImGUI, there's the 1.6 that I was talking about. So that's where the breaking changes are. libpng looks minor. Actually, I don't need libpng anymore. So we'll remove that. Looks like STB changed as well. So hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. Alright, so let's do upgrade. Yeah, so this might take a little bit of time as it goes and rebuilds everything. Should be faster though, because it is on my desktop and not in a VM. So while that's running, is there anything else here? Yeah, I think we're gonna be good with this. I'm gonna just validate that on Windows that works, and then if that's the case, we'll commit this under a Linux branch and make sure that it still compiles. So the last thing in here, like I said, I know it's gonna cause me problems, is where is it? Here. Yeah, this change in base. I really don't know what to do.
Let's all stay positive and do some science.
And the worst is that I actually, this assert helper, it says here, I forgot when I wrote this, this is old, but need this helper for Clang GCC so we can pass a single arg to fail. This is an old comment. I don't know what this was for. It was at the time to solve a problem with being able to pass only a single arg. And I think what used to be called fail is now called fail message. So maybe that's what I meant. And it seems like it was a way to work around the problem of not actually having any var args, but I don't see how that could have worked, so.
You may have heard we're going to phase out human testing. There's still a few things left to wrap up, though. The bean counters told me we literally could not afford to buy $7 worth of moon rocks, much less 70 million. Bought them anyway. Ground them up, mixed them into a gel. Guess what?
Okay, it looks like we purged and removed all the packages, and now we're in the process of building. So we're doing GLM. So on this, like I think I have, we can talk about this. So GCC, I guess we'll start with the error. So if we go back into base.h, and I just grab, let's say, one of these and remove the token pasting. Okay, so this is the error that we get. In a place where we're calling error expected prime, that's it, expected primary expression. An expansion of assert helper, an expansion of macro fail, and it's not doing a very good job here of showing it. So in fact, it was a bit hard for me to see the problem. But yeah, it has to do with the second point. Okay, so here it is. So in C, functions that take variable arguments require a prototype declaration, while in C++ all functions require a prototype. The declaration for printf can be found here. The var arg syntax is non-standard. It is a swallow comma if the var args is empty extension implemented by GCC, and it seems to have been adopted by other compilers. Yeah, see, when I read briefly, it seems there's no way to write portable C++ code with variadic macro. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this actually compiles on Visual Studio. Okay, what happened to my colors? Okay, anyways, we're still building. Now we're doing imgui. Yeah, this is very slow. Anyway, kind of thing you do once. And I guess I won't be able to build this anymore since I'm in the process of building the library, so then linker won't work. But we can still try to compile, so let's see. If we go to base.h and do this, and then find a fail message somewhere, let's say cartridge, will this compile? Oh, that's a good sign. So maybe that is an acceptable solution. Like if I just put this here, here, and here. I guess what I really need to be checking is a fail without a message. Okay, so it's good news. It looks like we can keep that change and it'll be, even though it's not technically portable code, it should work for GCC, probably Clang, and MSVC, and that's really all I care about. So. Stop that. How are we doing here? Hey, I thought I removed libpng. Didn't I remove libpng? Maybe I just deleted the libraries, but I didn't actually... Oh, maybe I have to do like an uninstall or something like that to really get rid of it. That's annoying. I'm tempted to just break this, but whatever. Maybe I should have removed it. x86? Did I really ask for x86? You know what? Let me just check something. Is there a way to tell it only to do the x64 ones? Oh, here we go. You can set the triplets. What? Oh, okay, so it looks like I'm done. It's actually asked me to take a 3 minutes to complete our survey. I've never seen that before, through a command line. Amazing. Install, remove, uninstall all out of the uninstalled package. So what was the deal with libpng? It's still there. Let's look, it's still there. It keeps saying it's done, but it doesn't actually do anything. It's not installed, so it's not removed. Okay, now it's gone. You have to actually explicitly put the whole name. So glue, glm, mgui. I can remove zlib as well. Okay. So now, hey beheld one, how's it going? I'm gonna stop soon. Been streaming for about 3 hours and I'm getting quite tired. But I'm glad you joined anyway. So right now I'm expecting the build to fail in this file here because we call shutdown in here. And that has been removed from mgui in, was it 1.6? This call here. In fact, you see it's already underlined, and there it is, the failure. Had to reload because CMake lists got updated. Yeah, so, oh, cannot open STB image. Did I like mess up and lose? I did lose STB image. Why? Did I mess this one up? Oh, and actually, do it this way. Okay. Alright, so it still doesn't see STB image. I'm not sure what I did there. Why am I getting these weird? I want the X64 version. Got myself into a weird state there. Okay, there we go. Now the only error I should get is that one, and yes. No. Still not finding this guy. I think I need to run CMake, yeah. That's why. Does this work? Still no. Let's just regenerate this. I really need to sleep. Keep making little mistakes. STB not found. I guess something changed then. In the way STB is presented? Is that possible? Let's see. It will be in packages. include STB. What's up with that? Oh, wrong one. Find STB. It doesn't say static. Did I forget to put static? I must be why. Let's see, package list. Oh yeah, look at that. Tired. Alright, so now we've added it, and now our CMake command should work. Okay, so that finally found it. So STB image, hopefully, is now visible. Yes. Yeah, there we go. So we're down to the same thing. So let's say we remove this shutdown call here. Let's see if that actually works. I think this is not supposed to work because we have to do the create context. But I wanted to validate that. Yeah, so you see we just got a access violation here in what? I actually don't know why it's this one, but
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
oh yeah, okay, it's in the init call. Alright, so let's try and add the create context that we're missing. And where had I put it in my other code? Alright, so I had create context here just before returning true at the end of that function. And let's do this. We'll just remove the shutdown altogether. Probably we want to, I don't know. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. Oh, still unhappy. I guess, no, okay, we have to do create context before, of course. I mean, where are we supposed to do it? Maybe right before? Do I want it at the very top? And then maybe this would become very bottom. Symmetry. Ah, that looks like it did the trick. it me or did it actually look different? Looks like it's like got a different tint or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's got like different colors and stuff. Actually looks better. Interesting. Alright, so this is kind of good news. It means that the change that I'm making here, well, if we replicate it correctly, will work for us. So it'll just, you know, when we merge, there'll be no conflict or minor conflict. But I can be reasonably sure that this will be correct for Linux as well. So okay. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I'll probably commit this and push this and make sure it builds for Windows again, and I'll look into trying to test this for Linux on a version that runs. And if all goes well, soon I'll also set up a continuous integration to build Linux as well as Windows and provide binaries for that. And then after that it's Mac builds, which I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do because I don't actually have access to a Mac yet. I'm going to have to try to find one. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Sorry if I was a little all over the place tonight. It's not my usual type of stream, but in any case, hopefully you got something out of it. And I should be back in a couple nights. So yeah, thanks again.